Hi, this is Skip.
Hi, this is Mari.
And you're watching Arts Alive Delaware. Well, the Grand has a very important role in the arts community as one of the major presenter of live performances in the state. But it's even broader than that. We do approximately 250 events a year, 162 shows. Over 120,000 people come through our 3 venues. So it has a tremendous impact on the quality of life from a musical perspective and from an entertainment perspective. But it's even greater than that, because we also have a very active community engagement and education program. Last year, for example, in our Stages of Discovery, we put over 15,000 kids through our Stages of Discovery programs, many of them from Title I schools. Some of these kids are the first time they've seen a live performance. One of the proudest things that I think about as executive director is when I walk up King Street and see the 15 school buses out on King Street and the kids coming into our performances. It's very impactful, and there are future audiences and hopefully our future performers. So that's a very impactful thing that we do. In addition, because of all our performances and the 100,000 people come through our venues, it's an economic driver for the state and the city. For every dollar that's spent in our shows, 60 cents is spent in the community. So it has a tremendous economic impact on the city, the county, and the state. Well, as most people know, we do operate 3 venues: the Grand, the Baby Grand, and the Playhouse on Rodney Square. When you come into the Grand, you'll see a wonderful theater that was first built in 1871, refurbished in the 1970s, and it's a beautiful venue. I always tell people when they first come to the Grand and when they get to Copeland Hall, the first thing they should do is look around and look at the ceiling, because it's an amazing building and it's a piece of art. And so they'll notice what a beautiful theater is. This is also true at the Playhouse. Beautiful theater built in 1903, rehabbed 3 years ago, wonderful venue. And so you'll notice that at first. When you sit down in Copeland Hall, you'll also notice the acoustics. It has one of the best acoustics of any theater on the East Coast. A number of years ago, Tony Bennett was here. He had his whole entire orchestra. And in the middle of performance, he stopped. And he said, I want to play the next song with just me and my piano player, because the acoustics here are perfect. At the Grand, it's mostly music and variety. They'll see a plethora of different types of talent, whether they're comedy or music. Our music is very diverse in terms of the type of performances we perform. We try to match on various audiences. Recently, in the last number of years, we focused on diversity programming as well. The Playhouse is primarily Broadway, although we do put some music and variety up there. And there you'll see touring Broadway shows. This year we'll have five shows, but very different audience for the most part. Very exciting Broadway shows, and they range from dramatic performances to musicals. In the Baby Grand, you'll see smaller acts, more intimate acts, again, but a very diverse group of acts. We use that theater for up-and-coming performances. We use that for our diversity programming as well. No matter what venue you go to, you'll see a very, very diverse group of performances, both music and variety and in Broadway. We host 4 resident companies here, the Delaware Symphony Orchestra, First State Ballet, Opera Delaware, and the Rock Orchestra. So we have a close relationship with all 4 of those organizations, probably closer now than we ever had before. We're not only their home where they perform, we help them in a myriad of different ways. For example, this coming year, we will be working with them as part of our Stages of Discovery with the Delaware Symphony Orchestra, and that's a relatively new initiative.
Starting at the Grand, one thing I noticed was the intentionality on appealing to, again, the entire community at large. So I think the sensory-friendly family programming specifically really is intentional in addressing the neurodiverse community and their loved ones. So it's a space that allows them to attend, theater without the typical barriers like sound volume and like having to remain in your seat. You can stand up, move around, take breaks in our quiet areas. I feel like it's very intentional in, catering to the needs of all of our patrons. There's definitely a very rich, I would say, pool of partners that the Grand has, and it's just wonderful to be able to work with them, many on a recurring annual basis. Or whether it, like Skip said, it's diverse in that they offer ballet, some are offering comedy, again, theater. There's just a very rich, again, sense of community and partnership here at the Grand. So it's a great thing to be able to navigate.
The audience varies significantly, and that's what we want to see, because we want to be able to have programming that attracts a wide range of audience from every part of both demographically, both from a geography point of view, and from a music taste perspective as well. But it starts at the Grand with a performance. It's usually an upbeat performance. We've had groups like the Commodores, and this year we're having Kool and the Gang, and the artists we look for, we want it to be an up-tempo to get ready for the party. It's a shortened show, only lasts about 60 minutes. The other key component of the gala is that we honor someone in the community who has made a significant contribution to the arts. Past honorees have been people like Mr. and Mrs. Copeland, Ray Avery, Chip Rossi, and the Gilliam family. And this year we'll be honoring Mike Przicki, the outgoing mayor of Wilmington, who's contributed a lot to the arts. We have something called the Grand Medal that we present. And then we have the show, and then we go up to the party at the hotel. But the most important thing about the gala is it benefits our community engagement and education program. And it's our major fundraiser of the year. And so we try to remind people they're there for two reasons. They're there to have a great time, in a great party, and one of the best social events of the year, but they're also here at the event to help support our community engagement and educational programs.
So one of our newest programs that launched last season was our Paint, Sip, and Stroll series, which highlights local artists as well as artists in past history. So we're creating that educational tie-in, but also engaging our local artists and supporting them. So we invite the community in at what we think is an accessible rate of $15. And for that evening, they get a tour of the Grand. They have a paint experience for 2 hours. And the social piece that Skip mentioned earlier, the discussions that we found take place during those events, is something that is just, it's amazing. It's a wonderful thing to experience. And then our internship program, which we hope to be launching early next spring, is something that we hope provides a area of access, but also a way for high school junior and seniors to explore careers in the arts. So we're excited about those two initiatives specifically. The arts, I think, really at a young age helped me find my voice. I think it started in elementary school with that first vocal solo that I had, and just really given me the confidence boost that I would say I probably needed and kind of carried with me throughout my life up until this point. It gives me a space to be creative and also give back to the community, which is, a big portion of my life, I would say. Mm-hmm.
It increases the quality of life, and it helps attract people to the community, whether it's the performing arts or the museums or whatever. So I think that's really important. And the other reason that's important to support the arts is that from an educational point of view, it broadens people's perspective, particularly young people. Because a lot of times today, arts have been taken out of the school curriculum, and it's hard to find them. And so we can help, the various arts organizations can help provide that. And the third reason we talked about earlier is that they are economic drivers. It's hard to imagine the city of Wilmington prospering with plywood on the windows of the Grand and the Playhouse or the Queen or whatever, because they're very, very important to the economic vitality of the city, state, and region. So I guess I would capsulize it by saying 2 reasons: quality of life, 3 reasons: quality of life, education, and economic vitality.
Well, I would say supporting the arts in Delaware specifically, I think it creates opportunity. I think that's the first thing that comes to my mind, specifically because the arts is for everyone, whether it's, young students that, attend our Cities of Discovery shows, or, local artists that may have started a career in another field but are pursuing the arts now as one of their passions. I feel like the arts supports the holistic version of a being, of a person. It allows us to express ourselves basically in a way that we might not get to do in our normal day-to-day life. So I think supporting the arts really supports the community just in general.
You can support the Grand by buying tickets, contributing to the Grand, which supports the Playhouse, the Grand, and the Baby Grand. And also we have volunteer opportunities to work at the Grand as well.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Hi, I'm Ariane.
And you're watching Arts Alive Delaware. Ariane Harley Emerson, who I am just really privileged to work with, had an idea. And his idea in the beginning of 2020, really, and then going into 2021, a lot of marination time over the pandemic, was to quite literally elevate the vocal arts in the Delaware community. So Ariane was able to see that we had just some holes that were there that needed to be filled. So teachers needed more support. We didn't have a professional choir that was in Delaware. He had this idea for Bent But Not Broken, which is a conference that elevates the music of the African and Black diaspora. And so the idea that Ariane had was to bring all of those things together under this umbrella organization, Elevate Vocal Arts.
The vocal arts historically have been seen through a fairly narrow lens of artistic merit, meaning that when we think of the vocal arts, we think of opera and kind of classical idioms of choir. But what about like hip hop, jazz, R&B? What about spoken word? And so we believe that the vocal arts are any way that we express ourselves using this wonderful instrument that we have here that is made up of vocal folds slamming together. And it's amazing that these vocal folds are enabling us to be able to express creatively, whether that's singing, whether that's rapping, whether that's spoken word, all of that is part of the vocal arts. And so we wanted to widen that. And why did we want to widen that? Well, we wanted to widen that because we wanted to have a more inclusive vocal arts ecosystem. So when you take a look at the vocal arts ecosystem, the professional vocal arts ecosystem, and I use air quotes because when we think of professionals, we think of conservatories and the opera companies, which are all great and wonderful, and that's not a knock on any of that. But how many people are artists out there who are doing excellent work, that are moving society forward, that are commenting on the biggest challenges and opportunities of our time? And we need to include that in what we're doing, because it's more than just about the art itself, it's about the stories that are told. And when we share stories and we act upon the stories, that's what we call democracy. And so it's really fundamental that we have every voice find a home within the vocal arts.
The folks that benefit from Elevate Vocal Arts are honestly PK all the way through our oldest citizens here in Delaware. So because of the wideness of our offerings, we are able to serve PK through 12 population in our school residency programs. We really are able to tap into sometimes a missed opportunity for folks that are in that 18 to 25, that maybe they're still in school, maybe they're in grad school, they're not quite sure where their career is going to go. So we're able to help them during our Summer Institute program as vocal arts apprentices. And then of course we have our very public-facing opportunities in elevation performances and also our Bent But Not Broken conference. So we are looking to expand those audiences. It's really important for us at EVA to be performing in all 3 counties throughout the state of Delaware. We are on a nationwide stage for the Bent But Not Broken conference. So we have folks from all over the country. Those are people that are coming to the conference, those are ensembles, those are honor choir students, all coming together, coming to Wilmington to be able to experience Bent But Not Broken, which is a conference that's elevating the music of the African and Black diaspora. We are an intentionally diverse ensemble. So that means that not only is the music that we're doing, we have literally done Bach to Beyonce on a single concert, so the music itself is very diverse, but the ensemble itself is extremely diverse. So we do not have an ethnic majority in our choir, which is extremely unusual, if not the only one potentially in the country right now. So because of that, it means that our audiences are also diverse. This is a problem that a lot of community and professional choirs face. The audiences are going to be reflective of the ensemble. So one of the things that we are doing at Elevate Vocal Arts to expand that is reaching out to communities that might not typically have access to professional choral ensembles, to those performances, making sure that students also have access to being able to attend those performances, to make sure that as we are expanding the definition of what excellent vocal arts are, we can include that with the audience.
Simply put, we have 3 fundamental pillars, I would say. Those pillars are workforce development, performance, and education, right? So everything kind of fits within one of those 3 buckets. One of the things that I'm most passionate about, I guess I'm passionate about all of it other than here, but I think workforce development is one of the most pressing issues of our time. And the reason why I think that is because technology is advancing, the arts are advancing, everything is changing at a rapid pace right now. And if we want to keep up, we need to train our workforce in effective ways to make them marketable. And when I think about the vocal arts, because the majority of vocal arts or music in general is not what you would find, money that is, from the industry. It's not from your traditional opera, ballet, symphony. It's from contemporary commercial music, right? And so we have to keep that in mind. And how do we prepare people so that they can go in and out of these different kinds of experiences? Maybe they want to sing with a professional choir that is classical on Monday, and then on Friday night sing in the jazz club, right? This idea of the creative economy, of the gig economy, is growing. It is the fastest growing part of our economy outside of the green economy is the creative economy, whether that's music and video games, whether that's people busking on streets, whether that's teaching artists in schools. There is a growing need for vocal artists, and the training that we provide is essential in that next step, preparing people for whatever is next. That includes, of course, the vocal art itself, whether that's spoken word, singing, rap, hip, whatever it is, as the vocal art, but that's marketing, that is how to read a contract. How many people don't know how to read a contract? How to effectively leverage social media, how to create an artist portfolio. All of these things are critical to be successful. And those are workforce development skills that are in fact industry specific. They are industry-specific workforce development skills that are essential for being successful. So that is one of the pillars that I think is important, and one that I hope to see other organizations as well embrace is that workforce piece. The performance element is probably most easy to see in our organization. It's like that tip of the iceberg, and a lot of the other work that we do is below. And most people see elevation or some other sorts of performances that we might host or put on. So that's more in the traditional sense of performance. And then for education, we do education in a variety of different ways. So that's in PK through 12, ensuring that all of our students in Delaware have access to an inclusive vocal arts education. So that's going beyond Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms. Love those guys. They're wonderful, they're great. But we should also be learning about Florence Price and Margaret Bonds and Beyonce and Taylor Swift and all of these other folks as well. And so we're doing that, making sure people are having those experiences in their schools. And we are also helping teachers as well. So we're team teaching with teachers because the truth is we don't learn any of this in music school. I've gone through lots of music school, just lots and lots of years of music school, and there is no pathway for teaching music that is really inclusive. And there's certainly not a pathway about teaching music from the Black diaspora. And particularly here in Delaware, we have this wonderful piece of legislation called HB House Bill 198. And an HB 198 is a requirement that Black history is a part of education. From PK all the way through 12, all public education should incorporate Black history. But what does that mean for the arts? What does that mean for the vocal arts? How is that implemented? If we as artists were not trained on that in our pre-service teacher programs and universities, then how are we actually prepared to integrate this music into our curriculum and align it to both state and national standards? If someone is interested in getting involved with Elevate Vocal Arts, send us a note. You can go onto our website. If you're wanting to sing in our professional ensemble Elevation, you can just fill out a form there. We are very informal about auditions and very open-minded. We seek to disrupt a lot of the gatekeeping practices that have historically been in professional choirs. So you simply fill out a form, you send us what you do. We aren't going to require what the repertoire is. We want to see what it is that you are good at and what you feel comfortable with. And so it's more of a hearing, like what could we possibly do together is more what the process is like. And then we bring those folks in for an in-person audition with the choir, and they sing along with the choir, and that's our process. If folks are wanting to get involved with any of our professional development offerings, they can see things on our event page, and you can sign up to go to a webinar. You could sign up to go to a concert. So you can just really visit our website and find a wealth of information about how to get plugged in. And then you can also find out how to volunteer as well. If you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I can do, but it's not happening with my vocal folds, and I'm definitely not a teacher, but I want to do something, you can fill out a volunteer form, and there are a bunch of different ways that we can get you plugged into the organization. Supporting the arts in Delaware and everywhere is of critical importance. Oftentimes when we think about our society, we think about our government and all of those sorts of things, and that's great. Those are a reflection of pieces of what we do as a society and parts of our interactions and all of that. But the arts really reflect back to us who we are. And so it's really important that we are engaging with the arts. It's really important that we are teaching the arts in schools and beyond schools, because we are all continual learners. And it's important that we financially support the arts as well, because arts ain't free. Nothing in this world is free. It takes investment, and I say the word investment because a lot of people think, oh well, the arts, they're nonprofits, they're charities. No, art is not ornamental. It is absolutely fundamental to every aspect of our life.
when we're thinking about supporting those arts, particularly in schools, starting at the bottom, making sure that students understand the possibilities that are out there. This is a really big thing that Elevate Vocal Arts is trying to do in supporting the arts in Delaware, is making sure that students understand the wide range of possibilities. There are so many ways that you could be involved in the arts, but if we don't have that infrastructure, if we don't have the funding, if school programs are being cut, then they literally don't know that those opportunities exist, and then we limit the opportunities for not only the creative economy, but the economy in general. So it's our goal at EVA to make sure that students, the general public, legislators understand how important and fundamental the arts are to our society as a whole, and we are here to do whatever we can to support that endeavor.
Hi, I'm Denise.
And hi, I'm Joseph. And you're watching Arts Alive Delaware.
The role of our organization actually goes back to 1985 with the origin of the organization. A woman named Beth Hochhoser from Washington, D.C. Used to go to the Kennedy Center and go to Messiah sing-alongs, and when she moved down to Sussex County, she was on the board of the Sussex County Arts Council and asked about where she could go to hear the Messiah or a Messiah sing-along, and they said that, well, we don't have anything. So there became the beginning of the Southern Delaware Choral Society. She formed a group of singers. They performed the Messiah. And they didn't want to disband when they were finished with it, so the organization, came about from that time on. So the role of the chorale has been sort of a vehicle for local singers to come and join, to hone in their skills, work towards a common goal. It's also, the role is to provide more, musical experiences in Sussex County.
What's really great about our organization is the opportunity to have singers from all different levels and all different experiences come and sing with us. So there is no audition to participate in our ensemble. Singers are as young as 16 years old and are up into their 80s, so they're still singing with us. And it's so great to see such a wide variety of ages and experiences, from previous professional singers to amateur level singers who just enjoy singing. And I think that that's really the opportunity that the Southern Delaware Chorale provides, is just that opportunity for choral music in Sussex County.
The opportunity for singers to sing together was definitely a reason for the origin of the group. They also realized that there weren't many groups in Sussex County where people could go and enjoy a performance without having to go to Washington, D.C. or, New York, and places like that.
I think that the Southern Delaware Chorale really provides a great outlet for singers, as we were mentioning, where it's an opportunity for community building, where singers have the opportunity to work together for a common goal and the opportunity to make music in a large group setting. This year we have approximately 75 singers in our ensemble. And it's a great way for people throughout Sussex County. Our organization has singers from Rehoboth and Lewis, but also from Georgetown and Milford. So all aspects of Sussex County just converging together to make music. And really it's an opportunity for our audience to hear really great classical music, but classical music that comes to us from all different genres and time periods. And so I think that it's not only an outlet for those singers, but also an outlet for the audience to hear great music.
We also serve the the high school students. We have a Lee Mitchell Scholarship Program that we started back in 1999. In 1996, Lee Mitchell was a singer, composer, and pianist with the chorale, and he was commissioned to write an oratorio. So he wrote, in 1996, he wrote the oratorio Delaware, and they performed it all throughout the state. And he passed away in 1999, and the family sent an endowment to start the scholarship fund. So what it does, it enables high school juniors and seniors to audition every spring. They get full membership of the chorale, so they get to participate. They're able to sing a solo in one or both concerts. They get $1,000 worth of free voice lessons. And this also looks great on their resume. A lot of our Lee Mitchell scholars are going to college for music, so this really, helps them a lot. So this is good, that we've started. And also, the chorale is good for international travel as well. We had the opportunity last year to join some other ensembles, the National Phil, we had Dallas Symphony and the Baltimore Choral Arts. We joined them on a music festival to Amalfi, Italy. So we performed in Naples, the Vivaldi's Gloria. So, there were 10 of us that went, but there was an opportunity for more people to go. So this is sort of another, plus of being in the organization.
Typically, the chorale has 3 different concerts throughout the year. We typically have one in December, in February, and then in the spring. In December, it's typically geared towards a more Christmas holiday type of celebration in some capacity. And each year it changes what we might be experiencing. This year we're really excited to get to, not premiere, but get to do a contemporary large movement work called Illuminare. But each year we kind of look to continue to reinvent different larger works that we can incorporate into our season. And then in February and the spring, we will be looking for our other concerts, including our Black History Month concert, where we get to bring in other choral organizations from the Sussex County area to celebrate African American composers, lyricists, songwriters. And then as we're looking ahead to the spring, we're really excited that we will be doing a concert entitled In Her Own Words, which is a concert that's going to be featuring music by all female composers or lyrics by female composers. So you will hear music from as early as Hildegard von Bingen to Clara Schumann to lyrics by Abigail Adams, our former First Lady. So really a whole more than a century of music represented in just that one concert. And what's really cool is it's actually going to be the day before Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So really celebrating that. But in general, you can really just expect from our organization music that represents a wide variety of cultures and races and ethnicities and time periods, because we want to make sure that choral music is represented.
The Southern Delaware Chorale collaborates quite a bit. It actually started in 1985 with the Messiah. They collaborated with the Delaware Symphony. We've also worked with the Mid-Atlantic Symphony, other groups, and as Joey said, we're working into finding some instrumentation for the Messiah. We also, at our Black History concert, we collaborate with a lot of other choral groups. So in the past, we've had Cape and Lopin High School, we've had Bella Voce from Sussex Technical High School. This year, we're also going to add Milford High School to that mix, and we always have a gospel choir join us as well. And we usually start the program with the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. So we collaborate a lot with that.
I really think that the organization is committed to providing choral music, but making sure that it's choral music that's available to everyone. And that includes kids, that includes people from different ethnic and racial backgrounds. And so one of the great initiatives that we have is that any concert that we have, any students are able to come to the concert for free. So that's something that's a great initiative. We've also had opportunities where some of the directors in the past have gone and done different workshops at schools, which is something that I think is a great outlet to provide those students and their teachers to just get a next set of ears. If this sounds like something that you really want to do, we really are open to having more singers. You know, we have 75, but we have the capacity for more singers. And how our system works is that while our season has started, it's not too late to join. So if you're interested in participating in our organization, we hope that you'll come and check us out. Like I mentioned, there's no audition to participate, so it would involve just coming to one of our rehearsals. We rehearse in Georgetown on Tuesday evenings. And when you come, you get to experience what happens. It's not you're signing a commitment. You just get to come and experience it, see what's happening, see if it's the right fit for you. We want to make sure that you feel good about it. So we're looking for anyone who enjoys singing, who just wants to be a part of a community and make some really good choral music.
It's very important to support the arts in Sussex County because it brings culture to our community. And the arts are so important because, you know, it brings community, it brings people together. People can become part of something bigger than just themselves.
Supporting the arts is just a way that you're helping the community. You know, the arts is a win for everyone. There's not a win or a loss. It's an opportunity to really feel like we're just benefiting one another. And by supporting the arts, we're continuing to support innovation. We're continuing to think about how we can move our craft, how we can continue to challenge ourselves or ideas, or how we interpret things, how what we've done in the past doesn't always have to be what we've done or what we will do in the future. And I think that that's the best part about supporting the arts is it continues to evolve how we think. It continues to let us think creatively. And by supporting the arts, whether it's choral or visual or dance, you are continuing to inspire not only the youth, but even as we get older, you're inspiring us to think about how we can be better musicians or artists.